Hello, this is the Happy Families Podcast, Doctor's Desk Thursday edition. Oh, wouldn't you know it? The social media minimum age legislation is not working out quite so well. It's not going the way we'd all hoped it would go. The government has not quite done the job that it's supposed to. I've heard a whisper along the grapevine that there are some legal proceedings occurring with the big platforms not doing their job. More on that shortly in our Doctor's Desk episode and what it means for you as a parent. Plus, Dutch children are the happiest in the world. We'll find out why with brand new research pointing out what we can do to follow the Dutch at least a little bit and help our kids and us to be happier. It's the Happy Families Podcast. More next. Stay with us. Hello and welcome to the Happy Families Podcast, where you get real parenting solutions every single day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We're Justin and Kylie Coulson. And Kylie, we're going to go fast today. We've got two big studies to talk about. Champing at the bit to get into this one, and I can see the enthusiasm writ large on your face because you're so excited about these two. Which one do you want to do first? The social media stuff, and let's talk about what's going on with the minimum age legislation, or should we talk about Dutch kids being happy and how ours aren't quite as happy?
No, we're going to start with the rip the Band-Aid
I
off.
can hear the misery in your voice.
Well, I am a little bit sick.
Not just
You're
that,
giving me a hard time.
but we talk about social media all the time. Seriously,
It's like the bane of a parent's life right now.
Parenting is dealing with children on screens in 2026.
So you're a really big agitator for the social media ban, recognising that we need to do something more to protect our kids. But you also were very vocal in acknowledging that you didn't think it was going to work in spite of agitating for a change and a need for protection. So what's the research saying now? Okay,
so thank you. The British Medical Journal, the BMJ, high-profile journal, this one matters, brand new research just published in the last, 24th of June. So in the last month, this has just come out. Brand new, really important, assessing early effects of Australia's Social Media Minimum Age Act on adolescents' social media use. It's an observational study run by some researchers at the University of Newcastle in New South Wales, as well as some researchers at Deakin University and the Centre for Health in All Policies out of South Australia. And here's what they've basically tried to do, Kylie. They've said, we need to examine how this world-first national policy, which established the national minimum age of 16 for holding accounts on a handful of designated social media platforms, how that's affected social media use, and talk about what adolescents are doing in relation to social media platforms as a result of the act being brought in. So that's basically what they're looking at. It's an observational study looking at Australian adults aged 12 to 17 at the time that the implementation of the age restrictions went in. They ended up with just over 400 adolescents, Kylie, 408. It's a longitudinal study, so they got baseline data, and then a 3-month period later, they collected more information as well. And what they were just asking is how much social media are you using? Like it was self-report, okay? Relying on adolescents.
To be truthful
about how much they're using social media in the previous 7 days, okay? And also time spent per day. So we know that it's not going to be perfect because self-report around screens never is. It's far from perfect. People are drastically lacking in self-awareness in terms of how much they're using it, but that's what they've done. They had 436 adolescents at the start. 3 months later, they'd lost a few, so they were down to 408. They lost about 30. I can't do maths. 28. 85 of them were under 16. More than 85% of the participants under 16 said, yep, I'm using social media platforms that the Act said I can't use, and I have been using them in the last week and certainly over the last 3 months, and I'm using them via my own account. There were 2/3, literally 66%, who reported exposure to platform age verification. That is, only 2/3 were even asked to prove their age. Most of them who got through just uploaded a picture and kind of lied about what was going on. They uploaded selfies, they circumvented restrictions, they created fake accounts, they used social media via a private browser, VPNs. In other words, the conclusion essentially, Kylie, is that The time spent per day has not really changed for 12 to 13-year-olds. It has gone down a little bit for 14 and 15-year-olds, but we're not talking much. And basically, the majority of kids, if they want to be on social media under the age of 16, they still are.
So is this where we roll over? We're defeated, we give up, or is there actually more that we can and should be doing in an effort to protect our children?
Okay, I have two answers for this. The first is that the government has to do what they said that they would do. They've got to have bite. This cannot be a dog that barks and barks and barks, but never actually bites. They need to take these platforms to court. They need to sue them. They need to inflict reputational and financial damage. And the reality is a $49.5 million fine, while it seems like a lot to you and I, it's a couple of hours' work, if that. It's chump change for these companies. Nevertheless, the government needs to show that they're serious about it and they actually need to act. Like I said, I've heard some whispers along the grapevine that some action is being taken, but it's going to take a long time. And this is what I said would happen at the start of the year. I said, court action, it's all going to be on and it's going to take forever. And then if the government wins, the companies will appeal and nothing will change for our children, which brings me to part two of my answer. And that is that as parents, we are not out of the woods. We still have to be the parents. We still have to do the job because the legislation, while it exists, is not doing it for us. The good news is the legislation is there. So this is a bit like getting your kids to wear a seatbelt in the car. The legislation's there, but if your kids don't want to wear a seatbelt, they can probably get away with it most of the time and no one's going to get fined. Like the police are not stopping you every time you go for a drive. There's just not that many police on the road. And so in the same way, your kids can get on social media and no one's going to stop them. But every time you get in the car, you say to your kids, put your seatbelt on. And it's the same with your kids and their screen use. We've got to be across it. I've written a bunch of books about it, 10 things every parent needs to know. My new book, Boys, my book about teenage girls called Misconnection. I go into it in detail. The podcast, we just don't have time to go through it all, but we've got to do the job. We've got to be on this.
Well, after the break, let's talk about something a little bit more happier. And I want to discover why Dutch children are the happiest in the world.
That's next. Stay with us. We're back. It's the Happy Families podcast. Let's dive into this one, Kylie. I know that you don't like it when I get too carried away with two doctors' desks in one episode.
I just want to know, are we moving to Holland anytime soon?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
I think so, yeah. So here's what we know. The Netherlands topped the charts, 43 OECD and EU countries when it comes to kids and their happiness. This was from... Actually, it's going back a little way. It's kind of about 9 months old now, but mental health, physical health, and skills.
So we're talking about countries that have actually prolonged children's ability to be at home and start later. That's essentially the part of the world we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Interestingly, that doesn't come up in the report as part of it, but it is structural, and that can only happen because of all the other things that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
So I've got a list of about 5 things that the research points to that makes their kids happier. We can't do all of these things in this country, but we can do some of the things. So I'm just going to whiz through them really quickly. The first thing is social relationships are the engine of this well-being boost. I've always said
the community.
Relationships are the heart of well-being. Build the village. When you've got a strong village, you tend to do well, except in some unusual circumstances. But strong relationships are everything. Where Dutch kids really stand out is the support that they get from family, from friends, from teachers, from classmates. They score high right across the board. There's UNICEF data.
So does that data include like intergenerational family connections?
It's intergenerational, it's neighbourhood, it's school. They're not an overly religious, although there's a lot of religion in the country, but it's not a massively religious nation. But they're involved in community and sports and churches and you name it. I just want to share some UNICEF data that I dug up. 81% of Dutch 15-year-olds said they could make friends easily. That's the high, if it's not the highest, it's among the highest rates measured. 81% are saying, yeah, I make friends easy. Like if you asked Australian kids, how easily do you make friends? You're not getting an 81% response rate here.
Not at all.
So social relationships
I think if you ask that same question of adults in Australia.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
You wouldn't get that.
Absolutely. Here's the second thing that came out in the data. Parents are actually around. And they're not staring at their stupid phones. But
do they have any social media bans or anything?
No, they don't. But parents are around.
Yeah.
Right. So again, this is the critical thing. Dutch people, and this is a community and social design thing that we just don't have in Australia. Dutch people work fewer hours per week than anywhere in Europe. It's quite common for both mums and dads to work part-time. They have this thing called Papa Dag. It's Daddy Day. And it's how would I describe it? It's just this cultural reality. It's an institution. Dads take 1 weekday off with the kids every week. And that's just life by design. Like that's career typical. It's not a career suicide situation. Like, can you imagine everyone works a 4-day week? Because there's not as much inequality in society. Like, everyone just does 4-day weeks. So mums are working and dads are working, but they're each doing 4-day weeks and everyone's around. And so they've got that. Here's what else they've got. They've got low bullying and they've got no phones. Specifically, so Dutch schools are renowned for their low bullying in the school, but schools in the Netherlands have a blanket ban on smartphones. And it's also worth highlighting, school, as opposed to Australia and the US and the UK, really, really low pressure, not competitive. It's just about helping kids to enjoy being at school. And like you said, they start a little bit later. Oh, you know what else they do? They factor confidence and independence into their lives. So kids don't get driven to school. From around about the age of 8, they ride their bikes to school because they've got the infrastructure over there. Number one, it's flat. Number 2, but
the bike pathways and
they've got low speed streets and that kind of thing. But autonomy is what their philosophy is over there. Like they're literally we've built an environment that facilitates autonomy. We can trust that our kids will be okay because the environment adds protective layers to ensure that they'll be okay. That's just amazing. I love it. We got to go there. We got to try it out.
Yeah, I think I could be packed up in a week.
Okay. We need to wrap this up. I want to share the last couple of things that the data showed. 87% of Dutch 15-year-olds report being satisfied with their lives.
Wow.
The highest of all 43 countries measured, and it barely moved through COVID. So in 2018, it was 90%. It's dropped 3%.
Wow.
Like, hello.
I don't think I want to know the answer to this, but how did Australia do?
Australia wasn't ranked. And I'll tell you why. UNICEF Australia's own State of Australia's Children report was not included because we didn't have enough data, because we literally don't collect enough data on our own kids to be ranked. UNICEF Australia has said that the Australian government needs to do something to address the data gaps, but we just don't do it. Britain, they came 24th, but Australia, we're just not there. Like, we don't have the data. And when we do have the data, it's really bad. About 1 in 6 Australian kids live below the national poverty line. 53% of 10 to 17s have experienced cyberbullying. 74% have encountered harmful content. I talked about that 2 days ago when we were talking about Emmy and her daughter seeing the violent video in the Tricky Question episode. Last report card in 2020, we did have Australian data, and we were ranked 32nd of 38 for child wellbeing overall.
Yeah, wow.
So, how do I say it? We're not doing well. We are not doing well at all.
So, out of this beautiful, happy story that Dutch children are the happiest, what can we as parents do on a practical level, knowing that we don't have the infrastructure of the Dutch people, but we do have capacity to make a difference in our children's lives?
Yeah, so this is the hard thing, right? Because the Netherlands doesn't produce happy children because Dutch parents are more enlightened. It is producing happy children because the system is built in such a way that
it supports the family.
Yeah, no individual parent has to be that enlightened because the system supports the family. The system supports the kids. It is.
That whole notion of it takes a village, it literally takes the village.
Yeah. And that is the data right there. So what can we do? Well, we have to build our village, and we always talk about this, and it's really hard because we're in a society that doesn't facilitate easy village building. We don't have the materials often because our street isn't friendly, or because we can't let the kids go and do whatever they want. It's really, really hard work. The short answer is it's really hard work, and we as parents have got to find ways to be creative in building that village. Anyway, that's our Doctor's Desk episode. We hope you loved it. Keep the kids off social media. Build the village. That's what the research is really saying. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Coulson from Bridge Media, and Mim Hammonds provides our additional admin support. Hey, if you'd like more info to make your family happier, check out my books, especially the brand new one, Boys, Building Strong Young Men from the Inside Out, and a whole lot more, all available at happyfamilies.com.au. Tomorrow, it's our Old Do Better Tomorrow. Oh, and next week, the big conversation. Victorian kids are missing 7 million days of school a year. Is it okay to take the kids out of school during school time? We'll talk about that and more on the Happy Families podcast. We'll see you then.